So the deadline did happen.
Yes.
I was messing with Brett the last couple of days because Boston hasn't really done anything after all of those rumors.
Once again, Avery Bradley did not get traded.
Did not get traded.
Ricky Rubio did not get traded.
Did not get traded.
It's just same guys every time.
And so, Ben, you have all of the
I got
trades,
the list.
Including before
Yes.
the deadline, so
Yep.
not just deadline trades. So we're going to go through that list, I guess, comment as
concerns,
needed. Right.
who won, who lost, anything like that.
Yes.
Pipe up if you want.
Yes.
So February 13th, the Trailblazers traded away Mason Plumlee and a 28 second round pick for Yusuf Nurkic and a Grizzlies first round pick.
This trade kind of confused me a little bit because it was kind of like swapping bigs. But Portland had... I think they played, was it last night or right before the deadline?
Yeah.
They had a big win for them because they're trying to stay in that playoff race.
They did play last night. I
Right.
checked the box scores last night. Nurkic actually played fairly well. He had a double-double. He had 12 and 12.
And that's what Portland has needed. Plumlee was expected to be that guy. He has played well, just not 12 and 12 well.
No.
And that's what Portland needs.
Well, and they got, during the offseason, they got Festus Ezeli expecting him to be a playmaker, but he hasn't gotten in yet.
He's hurt.
He is hurt.
Okay.
They even tried to ship him out, but they couldn't get a trade going there. But now with Nurkic, I think it's a breath of fresh air.
Right.
And they also got a Grizzlies 2017 first-round pick.
Which,
it's not going to be a lottery
now, does that
pick.
give them 3 for the first round? Do you know? I saw something that they have a couple. Whether I don't know if that's
I
the
think
second
one. I think we'll get to that later. But
Okay.
But I mean, it's a non-lottery pick, but it gives them more pieces
Yep.
in the first round.
And another thing with Nurkic from last night, he also had 5 assists to go along with 3 steals and 2 blocks, plus 23, whereas C.J. McCollum, a guy you expect to be one of their big keys when they go on a run, he was minus 4 in the game. So Nurkic and Lillard, 2 top point differentials last night for the Trailblazers, and I believe Plumlee's hurt now. If I heard that correctly,
No, I think you're thinking of the wrong Plumlee. Wrong Plumlee. It's the Plumlee that the Bucks traded to Charlotte that got hurt.
Okay.
Wrong Plumlee. The other brother.
There's 3 of them now.
Because it's kind of funny that you bring that up because Plumlee, the one that the Bucks ended up trading, he has it's Plumlee toothbrush holder night on Sunday. So the Bucks are giving out Plumlee, who no longer plays there, toothbrush holders. Make sure you guys get to the game and get those toothbrush holders.
Plumlee did play for Denver. He had 10 points and 3 rebounds.
So nothing's changed for Plumlee.
Took 3 shots and 4 of 7 from the line.
All right. So Cavs have been talking about getting rid of Birdman Chris Anderson for a long time.
Yes.
They did. They gave him to the Hornets for a 2017 second-round pick. Top 55 protected.
Protected. You heard that correctly.
Yes. So, so they're basically giving him away.
I mean...
Does that...
They've been discussing waiving him for a long time, and I think they're like, hey, let's just wait till the trade deadline, see if anybody wants him.
Right. And so pretty much they did the same thing because nobody did want him.
That's their Christmas present to Charlotte.
Well, my question is, obviously they're not gonna get that pick this year.
Right.
But what does that become? If it becomes anything?
I think it becomes nothing.
So
eventually it doesn't become an unprotected.
There's
I got you.
A lot of those that are.
Yep.
The
only for Cleveland,
cleared a roster spot for Williams, I think, and then
both Williams because they re-signed Derek Williams to their second 10-day, and they're signing Darren Williams, who is the proclaimed great player that LeBron's been asking for help.
And then either Bogut or Henton,
Larry Sanders.
Sanders presumably will end up there as well.
All right, another pre-deadline trade. One of the bigger trades, actually. The Raptors got Serge Ibaka for Terrence Ross and I believe a 2017 first-round pick.
Okay. Yeah, for me, I think Orlando, it's hard to say because Orlando's so guard heavy already. They just, I guess you could say Fournier and Hezonja are tweeners, so to speak, that 3-2, small forward shooting guard. But they just now you add another guard in Terrence Ross. They already are a team loaded with tweeners. The first round pick gives them some value in the draft to add a couple of pieces if they still have their other first round pick.
Yeah.
But I didn't quite understand the idea of Toronto adding another big.
Well, I think the Raptors they're getting ready for the playoffs.
Right. And Ibaka's a good player to add for the playoffs. To me, if you're only going to be able to play, two at a time, obviously one of them is going to come off the bench.
I mean, I would much rather have Serge Ibaka at power forward than Patrick Patterson. And I think with Terrence Ross, he was getting less and less minutes because of Norman Powell, who's been playing great. The first round pick, it's so-so, but it's a non-lottery pick.
Right.
So I think, and Ibaka's on a contract year.
So maybe worst case scenario is they let him go or turn around and...
Right. In best case scenario, they get him on a cheap deal.
Right.
Serious question with the Raptors.
Yeah.
Why do they keep playing DeMarre Carroll?
He's a good defender.
He's a 3-and-D guy.
Yeah.
I don't know what he's averaging 9 points. I'm surprised he's averaging.
There's another trade
9 points, but
that might give him less minutes, but we're going to talk about that later.
Yeah.
Let's talk about probably the big trade of the week.
Yep.
The Pelicans got DeMarcus Cousins and Omri Caspi.
So this is highway robbery.
Wait, can I finish here?
Jeez. My apologies.
So the Pelicans got DeMarcus Cousins and Omri Caspi. The Kings got Buddy Hield, Tyreek Evans, Langston Galloway, Pelicans first-round pick, top 3 protected, and a Sixers 2017 second-round pick. You say it's highway robbery.
Yes.
I say the Pelicans completely forgot about the guard position.
Okay. So, personally, to me, why I think this is highway robbery is because now you have... Granted, yes, they lost by 30 last night. So there's obviously holes here. But now you have a building block where you have the best power forward in the league and you have the best center in the league. I don't know if there's a better building block than that. They can't get worse. They have been really bad. They made the playoffs once since Anthony Davis has been there.
Yeah.
You got to start somewhere. And now last night, Buddy Hield had 16 points, which... For him, I think surprised a lot of people. Maybe him getting playing time is what he needs.
Well, if they have they have a good shooting guard now.
but we got to see how good he's going to be. He's still only a rookie. It's one of those things where the immediate impact is going to overshadow everything here. So I guess we're going to kind of have to see. But as of right now, as it stands, to me, I think that this is a one-sided trade. Just because neither team is really going anywhere, and Sacramento traded their really only true building block that they've had to this point.
I mean, you would think with the trade that they made that... Because basically, everybody thinks of Caspi as a throw-in.
Right.
A guy like... I know Ty Lawson played 30 minutes last night, but he hadn't been playing a ton, I don't believe, before the trade was made.
Okay.
They have so many guards between Collinson, Lawson, McLemore, any of those guys that they want to.
Those 3 guys you talked about, they'll be gone by the end.
Right, no doubt.
And McLemore was somebody they were trying to get rid of.
Yeah.
So if you're the Pelicans, you think maybe you can ask for one of those guys in return, but I think it's $400 million. That's all you got to look forward to, is because that's going to be your entire. Your entire payroll is going to be Anthony Davis and DeMarcus Cousins.
But now, in a situation where we've seen teams, like, let's say, when Miami had LeBron, D-Wade, and Chris Bosh, they were able to just convincingly say, hey, veterans, come as you please. We'll give you some minimums. We'll give you some mid-levels. We'll pay you a little here, pay you a little here, win some titles, and move on. Can New Orleans, as they continue to clean out whoever it is they want to clean out, is DeMarcus Cousins and Anthony Davis attractive enough where they can start to get those pieces. The rumors are already starting about them going after Chris Paul. I mean, can they somehow convince older players or veterans, so to speak, to come there and play with those guys?
It's certainly possible. Something to keep an eye on. But here's the thing. These guys, the amount of power forwards on this team is too damn high. Okay. Besides Anthony Davis, you got Omri Caspi, you got Dante Cunningham, Solomon Hill, Cheek Diallo, Donatas Motiejunas. They just cut Terrence Jones.
Yes, they did.
They just... Oh my gosh! And they did give Hollis Thompson a 10-day and Jarrett Jack a 10-day.
Okay, yeah, I saw Jarrett Jack.
If I was a guard, I'd want to play for the Pelicans.
Yeah, because you're almost guaranteed starting time. Just as if you're a big guy, you're running to Sacramento because.
The chances of New Orleans making the playoffs is very low at this point.
Right.
So they're still going to get that first round pick. No, they're not. They traded away that first round pick. It's top 3 protected.
Right. They won't finish top 3.
Yeah.
But I do think in defense of Sacramento here, the one thing they did win last night, but like I said, Buddy Hield at 16. But I think what this does is this allows a true, fresh youth movement that we saw a couple years ago when they tried to do the same thing with Tyreek Evans and who they got back along with DeMarcus Cousins, and it didn't work. Because they traded away they got rid of Isaiah Thomas and Hassan Whiteside along with that.
Well, okay, Whiteside's an anomaly.
Right. Yeah. But I think that this now gives Sacramento, they're in the position where they can control Buddy Hield for the next couple of years. Willie Cauley-Stein had a great game last night. Yeah. Whether or not they decide to get rid of Ben McLemore, and now you can add whether it be 1 or 2 pieces via the draft. You now can have a talented young team, and you have a really good coach who you got from the Grizzlies. As long as this owner doesn't keep overriding Vlade Divac and keep saying, playing puppet master, Sacramento could be in a really good situation in their defense with this trade, despite how bad it may look now.
Yeah, no, you're right. They got to look good. A lot of solid, young, cheap pieces.
Right.
Another guy I'm looking forward to see play is Skal Libaseri.
Yes.
Now he moves up to the second center. Or do they still have Kostas Koufos?
Yeah, he started last night.
Yeah, because Cauley-Stein came off the bench.
Skal had 12 points in 13 minutes.
There you go.
5 of 7 shooting.
Right.
But I think that's the best thing that's going to happen for the Kings is they get to Kostas Koufos, I think they'll get rid of, or they should get rid of.
Him and McLemore kind of seem to be on their way out.
But for sure. I think getting guys like Cauley-Stein, they can finally see, because for whatever reason they were hesitant to play him before.
With Boogie, right.
Well, even then, he was like I think he was the 3rd or 4th option.
Okay.
Behind Cousins and Koufos and whoever else, and they can finally see what he can do. And last night he gets his 30 minutes and he puts up 29 and 10. So
yeah.
All right. Let's move on to the next trade.
Yep.
Washington Wizards, they're having a great season. They added another shooter, Bojan Bogdanovic. They got him and Chris McCullough from the Nets for Andrew Nicholson, Marcus Thornton, and a Wizards 2017 first-round pick, top 14 protected. So the Nets are going to get that first-round pick.
And they desperately need it, as their number 1 pick is going to go to Boston.
So that's huge. But the Wizards, kind of like the Raptors, they're getting ready for the playoffs. Right. They're adding a really good shooter off the bench.
Yeah, this move, it's a win-now move, obviously. The Wizards have some decisions to make coming up with some of their players, whether they want to continue young or with Gortat and older guys, contracts coming up. I like this move. We really don't know what we're going to get out of McCullough because he tore his ACL right away. He was a one-and-done guy. So at worst, both of these pieces work out great for them. Otherwise, worst-case scenario is they get a really good shooter off the bench for the playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this is a solid trade for the Wizards and a good trade for the Nets. Like you said, they needed a first round pick.
Absolutely.
And really, I think that's the only thing they gave up. I mean, they did send 2 players in return, but neither one are...
Right, it's not like Marcus Thornton was a...
And they paid Nicholson a lot this offseason.
Yes, they did. So, I mean, it's not like, like you said, they're not really giving up any key pieces.
Okay, now Ersan Ilyasova, he's getting passed around more than a marijuana joint at this point. So the Hawks got Ersan Ilyasova. The Sixers got yet another center, Tiago Splitter, as well as the Heat's second-round pick, top 40 protected, and the right to swap the Warriors' second-round pick for the Hawks' second-round pick. Basically a bunch of
second-round picks.
Yeah. I mean,
what I do like about this trade to get rid of the confusion, to get off the second round picks.
Basically, Ilyasova for Splitter.
I got to watch a lot of Ilyasova as he spent time here in Milwaukee. What I always liked about him is, despite the fact that he's offensively, he's going to sit around the 3-point line and kind of be one of those guys who just kind of floats. He's not really the guy that you're going to lean on. But he is a better than you expect offensive rebounder. I think he does a very good job using his body, getting in position to get tip backs, to get second chance points. He seems to be in the right spot at the right time. He just has that knack and ability. And I think where this is going to help the Hawks, especially as they're kind of struggling but trying to find their way into this playoff fight here and battle for seeds. I think he's a good fit next to Dwight Howard. Dwight Howard's going to be the guy controlling the paint. Ilyasova's a stretch 4, but this gives them another guy who can rebound if needed. But now you're seeing the Hawks kind of add shooters because that's what makes Dwight Howard more successful. And you're kind of seeing them fit that mold of 4 shooters in the center, which has been successful in the past.
Right, and at right now, they are the 5 seed, half a game behind the Hawks, or the Raptors, excuse me, at 4. Yeah. So they could be battling for home court advantage. That'll be interesting to watch. Okay.
I was just going to say, I was looking at to see if maybe this was like a contract dump, but both players are free agents after this year, so Sixers don't really gain anything in that department.
They'll let Splitter go in worst case scenario, like you said before with another player. Worst case is the Hawks can sign Ilyasova to something cheap, and just keep him as a bench piece.
Right, possibly veterans minimum.
Right.
All right. Now we're really getting into the trade deadline trades.
Yes.
The Rockets got Lou Williams for Corey Brewer and a first-round pick.
It looks like the 6th man of the year is going to come from Houston, regardless of who it is, whether it be Eric Gordon or Lou Williams here.
Is Eric? I thought Eric Gordon's starting.
Is he starting? I know that whoever is in Houston, their 6th man has the most bench points in the NBA. Maybe it's not Eric Gordon.
He's on it, but
but regardless, this is another move.
Eric Gordon only has 8 starts on the year.
Oh, there you go.
He's averaging 17.3 points a game, playing 30 minutes, so he plays starter minutes.
Right, but that's their way of using their 6 man. This is another move to try to add another shooter, another scorer for the playoffs. I think Houston right now probably considers themselves the top threat to Golden State. And I think they're trying to add up for that run as they feel like they can score with them. That would be the only how this makes sense. And the Lakers add a piece where they can add another young player to that repertoire that is now ran by the Magic Johnson. So it'll be interesting to see how the Lakers use these picks.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it better. And Lou Williams. He's not on that bad of a contract right now. He's getting about $7 million.
Right.
So that's a nice contract to have for a guy coming off the bench and being a consistent shooter.
Right.
All right. Maybe the biggest trade deadline trade besides Boogie going to New Orleans. The Mavericks acquired Nerlens Noel for Justin Anderson, Andrew Bogut, and a top 18 protected first-round pick, which probably will be protected. In that case, the Mavericks' second-round picks in 2017 and 18 will go to the Sixers.
as the Mavs fan, I'm going to give you the reins here.
Yeah, no, I like this trade a lot. I was kind of telling you before. Sad to see Justin Anderson go. He was such a good rookie, especially when Chandler Parsons was, hurt basically all last season. He really stepped in and proved to be really good. But I think as this season's gone, his shooting has definitely declined. With Seth Curry coming in and Nicholas Brasino, an undrafted rookie from Brazil, who's really stepped up. He started getting more minutes than Anderson, so I was a little bit more comfortable trading Anderson. Andrew Bogut, happy to trade him away for anything at this point.
Right.
They would have traded away him for a glass of spoiled milk. So, yeah, good to see him go. And the fact that the 2017 first-round pick is top 18 protected makes me a lot more satisfied at this point because the Mavericks love to trade away first-round picks.
Right. Not to say that they can get themselves in position to lose that. So this is just a general question. Let's say Dallas ends up getting on a hot streak. They end up in that 8 spot. Is the NBA like the NFL where the farther you go, the higher your pick goes? So, like, if Dallas ended up the 8 seed and miraculously beat Golden State with their pick, then become higher? Or do they just still end up at 16?
So the only teams that are in the lottery are whoever doesn't make the playoffs.
But I'm saying, is there a chance?
No, I know what you mean. So, like, if they were the 8 seed and end up going to the Western Conference Finals,
would that pick become 29 or 27 or whatever it would be?
I think it would.
I'll look up last year's draft just to see.
But whatever the case may be. I think getting Nerlens Noel gives them a solid center. I think he'll still be coming off the bench with they're going to keep Dirk at center and Harrison Barnes at power forward because I like having so many good shooters, including Curry, on the court. But and Noel, he's going to be on the roster next year. He has 2 years left on his contract. So kind of get them ready and maybe convince him more to sign long term.
Well, and let me ask you this. I don't remember as vividly. How well did Dirk and Tyson Chandler play together?
They won a championship.
That I remember.
Yeah,
playing next to each other.
Dirk has played with so many centers throughout his career.
Because that's what kind of Noel reminds me of.
Yeah.
He's going to be a defensive guy, rim protector.
I agree 100%. And Tyson Chandler was definitely the best center for Dirk in his entire career.
Okay.
I'm really excited about this.
All right.
I don't know, honestly. Last year, the Hawks, who played the Celtics first round, beat them. They had the 21st pick. The Celtics had the 23rd pick.
So it doesn't sound... wherever you finish...
Either way, the Celtics finished 5th, and the Hawks finished 4th in the East. So I don't know how they got the 23rd pick.
I mean, at this point, it's a less than 50% chance for the Mavericks to make the playoffs. I think they're going to keep that first round pick.
Yeah, I was just curious as to how the...
Rockets making another trade, basically just trading away KJ McDaniels to the Nets for cash.
Yeah, I was always a big fan of KJ McDaniel. When he first came into the league, he kind of seemed like a guy who was finding his way a little bit as a bench scorer, and then just disappeared. So I don't know if it just guys were coming in better than he was. This will give him the chance to hopefully find himself.
Well, yeah, and they just, I think they're making, it was the same trade they traded for Lou Williams. They're making room for Lou.
Right.
Basically, seeing if they can get something out of him. Now, the Hawks traded away Mike Scott and the draft rights of Sank Akil? I don't know. For the Suns' 17 second-round pick, top 55 protected. So
this is making room for Ilyasova.
Yes. Basically. But they also traded away Splitter. So, that's really all it is. Okay, the Lakers acquired Tyler Ennis and the draft rights to Brad Newley for Marcelo Huertas. So basically, a couple 12th men getting traded.
Yeah.
But no, I like Marcelo Huertas, actually. So good for the Rockets. One of your favorite players, Roy Hibbert, spent a very small time with the Bucks. Bucks
you.
traded Roy Hibbert to the Nuggets for basically nothing. Top 55 protected Nuggets second-round pick.
Yeah, I would have took Denver's top Pepsi vendor for Roy Hibbert. I mean, I'm just not. I'm not a fan of Roy
How
Hibbert.
do you go about negotiating a top 55 protected second-round pick?
It's essentially what the Bucks said is, look, we're not going to play Roy Hibbert. I don't think he's played since he's been here. I think he's still hurt. The Bucks have decided to go with Thon Maker at the center spot. Since Jabari has gone down, they've won, I think, 3 of 4 or 4 of 5, something like that, since Jabari has gotten hurt. And they won their final 3 going into the All-Star break. So, I mean, like you said about some other trades, I mean, this is just the Bucks just making a dump, clearing a roster spot.
It's cash considerations,
really
but not
is.
the MLB.
Right.
The NBA likes to use top 55 protected second-round pick.
They do give out cash, though.
Yes.
There are cash consideration trades.
Another big trade, kind of right at the deadline. The Thunder have acquired Taj Gibson, Doug McDermott, and Bulls 2018 second-round pick for Cameron Payne, Joffrey Laverne, and Anthony Morrow.
Yeah. My buddy, one of my best friends, he's a diehard Bulls fan. And I immediately reached out to him when this trade went through, and he was not happy.
Really?
Not happy at all. Because he thought at this point Doug McDermott is one of their best shooters on the roster that they have currently. So he's like, we're giving up our top shooter. We're giving up a second-round pick that we could desperately need.
Wow.
Because we're not where we should be. He said, and essentially we're not really getting much back because Anthony Morrow is struggling. Cameron Payne is the second worst player in the NBA according to PER this year.
Okay. But.
So, I mean, really, they're not. These 3 pieces are just 3 guys that didn't play in Oklahoma.
I think this is a win-win, though. Taj Gibson on a contract year.
Right.
I don't think he was coming back to Chicago.
I don't either.
So I think, for the Thunder's sake, that's giving Russell Westbrook another guy to play with. And while Cantor is hurt, they were playing Laverne, who didn't really cut it. Taj Gibson is a much better option.
This was a good deal for the Thunder.
Yeah,
I thought
for sure.
Just what I think it was more so he was upset with what Chicago got back.
I get that, but I think Cameron Payne is a lot better of a point guard than you're saying. I don't think Rondo's going to be sticking around anytime soon. Does that mean MCW is going to move up to the starter? At this point, probably. I think Cameron Payne can be a very good backup.
Yeah, I agree. I do like Cameron Payne. I thought he could be an adequate player. I guess it just depends on what he can do with playing time.
He was a summer league star this offseason for sure.
I think Doug McDermott's going to be the best player out of this trade.
It could be.
Russell Westbrook could see his assists go up by like 4 a game.
Right.
Just because somebody can shoot the ball.
Right, and I think, to what my friend was saying, that was what he said, Doug McDermott's our best shooter right now.
McDermott has struggled percentage-wise. He struggled this year compared to last. Last year he shot 42.5%. This year he's at 37.6 from 3. Yeah. But still, I don't know who on the Thunder. I mean, Cantor might have been close to. Or who is their best 3-point shooter?
Their best. Roberson, maybe
from the corner, corner 3 guy.
Yeah. So you add a guy that
can spread the floor.
That could be potentially top 10 in the NBA in 3-point percentage.
Yeah.
Okay. Last trade, Raptors got PJ Tucker for Jared Sullinger. Raptors 17 second-round pick and Raptors 18 second-round pick. Now they said the Raptors. We're looking forward to looking into the playoffs, looking into playing against the Cavs. They wanted somebody to guard LeBron, PJ Tucker.
Yeah, to me, I always viewed Tucker as a better scorer than a defender.
Are you thinking about T.J. Warren?
That might be
You're probably thinking about T.J. Warren.
Yeah, because I was thinking that he would be a compliment to Demary Carroll.
Tucker's he is a 3-and-D.
So essentially they added another guy that's exactly the same as Demary Carroll.
He's more on the defensive side.
But I mean,
Okay, I guess you don't like that trade.
It just to me, it's a wash trade. You don't really. If Sullinger's healthy, I mean, do they move him? You don't know.
But I mean, the Raptors just got Ibaka. They got Podol.
Right.
Sullinger wasn't playing.
Right. That's what I mean. I mean, healthy does he play though?
I think if Sullinger's healthy, he has the potential to average like 15 and 9 or 15 and 10, but they don't have time to wait for that.
Right.
All right.